My mom called my wife not wife material. My mom hated my fiancée, Julia, right from the beginning. And she said the reason for that is Julia is focused on her career and isn't great at housework. And she thinks Julia won't make a good wife or mom because of this. This Thanksgiving, Mom asked Julia to cook the turkey. Julia doesn't cook much and was nervous about messing it up. She even told my mom that, but Mom said she should just try because she'd have to learn someday anyway. Julia was super stressed about messing it up, so we decided to buy a turkey from Whole Foods instead. Julia was very happy to bring something nice to dinner without the pressure of cooking herself. When we got to my mom's house, Mom asked how Julia made the turkey. Julia admitted she bought it. Mom got really mad and said she trusted Julia to cook and was disappointed she didn't try. Julia apologized and explained she just wanted everyone to have something good to eat. Mom wasn't having it and started whispering to her sisters about it. I asked Mom what was wrong, and she said Julia was disrespectful and immature for not cooking the turkey. Then she went further, saying Julia isn't the right person for me and won't be a good mom. That was it for me. I told Mom if she couldn't respect my fiancé, we wouldn't stay. Later, my sister called, saying we ruined Thanksgiving by taking the turkey with us when we left. My daughter's friend is a weirdo. My daughter made a friend at her new school, who I don't like at all. She had to change schools because we moved states. She is in 6th grade, so I told her to use the summer to make new friends at her school. I got a message from a parent last week asking to meet up and let the kids meet. They would be in the same grade, and I thought it would be a good opportunity. We went yesterday at the local pool. I met Melanie, and she wouldn't make eye contact, was very soft-spoken, and overall didn't seem to be paying attention. The kids were playing while I talked to the mom. She is always been in the area and was excited her kid was finally getting a friend. But my daughter came up to me asking to leave early. I found it weird, so I asked her why. Then she told me Melanie freaked her out. She was very touchy, kept pushing her in the water, was whispering random stuff, would stare at people and make comments, and even compared people to bugs. I am still confused on what that means. Caddy told me she was uncomfortable and didn't want to hang out with her again. But when I told her mother our kids aren't a good fit, she harassed me on social media. My daughter, what's the most exciting thing you've ever done? About once a week for a year in college, I would wrestle with my girlfriend's roommate with my girlfriend watching. The roommate was really shy and never did anything socially. She had gotten out of a long-term relationships right before school started and drunkenly told us the only part she missed was regular wrestling. My GF suggested she could use me with some rules. She would always be there but never join. We were safe. Anything adventure had to get approved by her and we don't tell anyone. After a year, the living arrangements changed, so I wasn't used anymore. A year later, we broke up, and I became friends with benefits with the roommate. Hi, girl.
One time, like 3 weeks ago, I went over to a family greeting with my dad's side of the family. And there's this one cousin that really hates, like, everybody and proceeded to brag about how amazing he was and how many great achievements he had gained. Then he picked up on one thing, which was that he is a wine major. And apparently he drinks 3 to 4 bottles of wine a day. And even if he doesn't like a kind of wine, he drinks 3 more bottles of it just to be sure. And then I proceeded to say, my dad's a major in wine because he is. And he freaked out and started making up some more random excuses before calling me too smart for my age. Excuse me? Anyways, then he decided to walk over to my side and tell me if I ever speak up to him like that again, he will beat me. And then I called him an alcoholic. Former psych ward workers, what incident made you quit the job? I was working as a trained nurse in a psych ward, and one day I was assigned to take care of a patient who had attempted to hurt himself. He had never spoken to anyone since being admitted in 1998, so I knew it would be a challenge. I read his case before seeing him, hoping I could help. I was shocked when I opened his file and read that he was 15 when authorities found him with 6 lifeless bodies of his family in their home. He claimed he didn't do it, but rather his friend, who he said tells him everything and currently lives inside him. 15 minutes into our walk, he started whispering to his left ear as if talking to someone. I heard him mumble, "Leave me alone." I continued walking when he stopped me and gave me the scariest smile I have ever seen. Then he said the name, Amanda. I clutched my clipboard tightly after he mentioned my pregnant wife's name. I tried to act cool and told him I didn't know any Amanda, then played along and asked, "Is she your friend?" He replied, "No, but my friend wants something she has." He started looking up and said, he wants to play with Leo. Out of fear, I immediately took him back to his room and sent in my resignation letter. I packed everything that day and quit. Leo was the name we picked for our son. Former psych ward I kicked out my daughter's creepy boyfriend. Our daughter Ellie, 20F, told us she has a new boyfriend, Tom, which surprised us since she hadn't mentioned dating anyone before. Ellie, usually open with us, was secretive about Tom, not sharing any pictures or details. She only said they met at a party through a mutual friend. Ellie has spent the past month in her college town and planned to come home this weekend. She asked if she could bring Tom to meet us, saying they were getting serious. Though we knew little about him, we agreed. Yesterday morning, we went to pick up Ellie and Tom from the airport, and we were shocked. We knew instantly that there is no way in hell Tom is a college student. We didn't want to make a scene, so we drove home quietly, which Ellie noticed. Once home, my husband asked Tom his age, and he revealed he was 44, just 2 years younger than my husband. I was disgusted, and my husband asked Tom about how they met. Ellie rushed in and said they met at a party, and they had a lot in common. My husband told Tom to leave, and Ellie got upset, saying we hadn't given Tom a chance, and he made her happy. Tom left, and Ellie followed.
People have read it who got switched at birth. What's your story? It's a long story, but when I was born, I was diagnosed with congenital heart disease. My non-biological parents were expecting a healthy baby at that time, but were surprised to give birth to a baby with heart defect. I had to stay longer at the hospital waiting to receive a surgery, and my parents needed to spend thousands of dollars to keep me alive. To cut it short, my real parents found out about the switch after a DNA test, got a lawyer, and contacted my parents about the possibility of giving me and the other baby back to each other. Well, it got worse because my real parents refused to swap after finding out about my medical condition. None of them wanted me. My real parents abandoned the negotiation. So my parents sued my real parents because they want their baby back. It was a 7-year legal battle while I was ward of the state after my parents abandoned me at the hospital because they cannot pay my medical bills. In our country, it is legal to abandon a baby if the parents can't afford the treatment. I knew all of it because my real grandparents took responsibility and raised me. I lived a normal life and didn't end up what they expected me to be. They won the custody, and my real parents got charge of child abduction.
I won't apologize for being adopted. My bio family was trash, and I had to be taken out of there by CPS. I was extremely lucky to be taken in by my amazing family, and I know enough about my bio family to know I want nothing to do with them again. My parents adopted 2 other kids alongside me and have 2 biological kids as well. I consider all of them my siblings. One of the bio kids is Matt, who recently got engaged to Evelyn. Evelyn was also adopted, but didn't have a good experience. She never knew her bio family, and her adoptive family wanted to keep it that way. They were very controlling of her, and it led to a lot of conflict and trauma for her. The problem is that Evelyn can't see adoption in any other way now. She believes that adoption is evil. It tears people away from their families, and she thinks kids are brainwashed by CPS and adoptive parents into thinking it's okay. She knows I'm adopted, and when we talk about it, she says, I've just buried the trauma. She's convinced that deep down, I really love my bio family, and adopted kids in the US are really just commodities who have been bought and sold against our will. I've told Matt that she needs to shut up about it, but this Saturday, while we were all at my parents', she tried bringing it up again. I snapped at her that I don't care how bad her adoption experience was, mine was great, and she needs to drop it. Evelyn got really offended. She said I was just being spiteful and rubbing my better experience in her face. Whatever, I just need her to stop using her trauma as an excuse to trash my existence. I won't apologize.
I left my husband after he won a huge lottery. A few years ago, my husband had a work accident and won a huge court case, multi-millions. We'd struggled for years, so at first I thought this money was a blessing, but it turned into a nightmare. Since he got the money, he's become someone I don't even recognize. Suddenly, our friends and family aren't good enough because they don't live in mansions or wear designer clothes. He started judging everyone, calling people with small houses and regular cars sad and depressing. And he's not quiet about it. He's rude and mean to everyone. We upgraded some things, but he pushed for all these luxury brands. He bought me clothes, jewelry, and even a new car, but it's all stuff I never wanted, just things he thought would look rich. He even pressured me to quit my job because he said it made us look poor. I love my job, but he kept telling me I embarrassed him. It got worse. He started suggesting I get plastic surgery, saying we could afford it now, so why not? It felt like he was trying to change me to fit this lifestyle he thinks we should have. We tried therapy, but nothing changed. I didn't want to raise kids with someone who had turned so shallow and mean, so I left. But now, I'm scared people will call me a gold digger because we never had a prenup.